Bonjour, je m'appelle Jack, and welcome to a brand new... I gave up fast. And welcome to a brand new episode of ReZOO, the Zoo Review podcast. As I said, my name is Jack, and I am joined once again by my incredible host.
You're throwing the whole thing off.
Co-host and fellow passionate zoo lover, the one and only Jodi McFarlane. Say bonjour, Jodi.
Bonjour.
Presented by Pangolin, the conservation podcast. This sister show promises to explore, appreciate and highlight the fantastic conservation work of zoos from around the world, while also offering a perspective on the visitor experience.
Yes, and today we are doing our first ever double bill, which is very exciting. We are going to be reviewing or ReZOOing both. Now, I apologise to the listeners of France for this pronunciation. We are going to be ReZOOing both Parc Zoologique de Paris and the Ménagerie de Jardin des Plantes.
I think you smashed that. Our high school French teacher would be so proud. As always, we are going to walk you through our day, some of our favourite memories of the zoo, the animals we loved, the things that stood out to us, the things that really made our day extra special, wonderful, fantastic. And then, as always, we will wrap up with our 2 stars and a wish. So thank you so much for listening. And without further ado, let's get started. And welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us once again for another wonderful, exciting, fun-filled episode of ReZOO, where today, yes, we are doing a double bill of the zoos of Paris. We're going to be talking both about the Menagerie, which is found in the Botanic Gardens, the Jardin des Plantes, and the big kind of main, I suppose, zoo, which is found a bit further out of the main part of the city, but also incredible. We're going to double bill them because they're both organised kind of and run by the same people, and they both highlight very, very different things. They're very, very different experiences, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of contrast and put them together. A bit like what we did with the Blue Planet and Deep Sea World.
Yes.
We'll kind of focus mostly, I guess, on the big Parc Zoologique de Paris, and then we'll also talk a little bit about the Menagerie to get us started as well, just to kind of cover our opinions on everything in a way that hopefully is more digestible for you guys. And if you're going to Paris, you can listen to this. You don't have to listen to 2 episodes. You can listen to the one and then make your choice about which one you want to go to if you want to go to both.
Yes.
And also I feel the Menagerie discussion is going to be much, much shorter because it's a much, much smaller, more contained experience as well. So yes, let's get started. Earlier this year, unlike Prague, unlike Rotterdam and Amsterdam, me and Jodi did separate trips to Paris with different groups of friends. I went with a group of friends from high school, loved them, great group of people, but not zoo people.
Yeah.
So I went with people who are not zoo people. We went to the Menagerie together, and then I went off independently on the last day and did the bigger zoo by myself because they wanted a chill morning, kind of just sitting in cafes and stuff. And I was like, lovely, I want to go out and do this. So I'm going to go and do it by myself. So I went and did that. Jodi, you went a little bit later in the year from me, and you went to the listeners.
I went with my auntie, who's also not a zoo person. She would not agree to go to both. So her and I went along to the bigger Paris Zoo one day, spent the day there. I have been to the Menagerie before, though, on my previous trip to Paris, but that was many years ago now. So I do remember some bits about it, but it's perhaps not quite as fresh in my memory, but I will try to give my opinions the best I can.
Yes. So I guess we're going to start with the Menagerie. It is the smaller of the 2. It's one of the oldest zoos in the world.
Yeah.
It was kind of founded, I believe, as kind of a place where like all of these gifted animals to French nobility and people high up in social standing were kind of eventually collected in this place. And yes, it is now kind of home to, I guess, what I would consider to be kind of some of the smaller animals that is under this organisation's care. So where Paris Zoo, which we'll talk about in a second, has like a lot of the larger animals, things like giraffes and all the classic kind of big mammals and stuff. This zoo, bit smaller, kind of a smaller contained experience. It has things like kind of goat species, Goral, you have mountain goats, you have flamingos, you have reptile houses, you've got birds, lots of smaller species.
Yeah, and stuff that can be housed in slightly smaller habitats
exactly,
as well.
Things, you've got tapirs, you've got kind of like all these kind of smaller species, I guess.
Yeah, which makes sense because from what I remember of it, many of the enclosures perhaps hark back to older styles of enclosures because it is one of the oldest zoos in the world. Second oldest one in Europe, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
And I appreciate that they've managed to have the balance of, well, we're going to retain a lot of these older features to show that historical side because it is an important historical zoo. But we are going to change the type of animals that we have in these habitats to better reflect modern zoo standards.
Exactly. And so, yes, there are some areas of the zoo which are older and so do reflect that kind of older style of zoo. But yes, there are areas which have done a good job of kind of like changing it up and putting like pigs, goats, smaller species of birds, stuff in that perhaps wouldn't have been there in the olden kind of more Victorian picture of a zoo, but now are kind of more suitable for these smaller kind of creatures. It is kind of, because of that, a kind of more limited experience. There are some larger species. There are things like cassowaries, some leopards, there's tapirs, as I said, orangutans. There are things like that there, but they are fewer and far between. Most of the larger species are contained and kind of have their homes at the larger Paris Zoo. Now, it is an interesting one. It is kind of like one of these ones where like you can see the history running through it. It is an enjoyable and historic day out for people who are really interested in history of zoos and all sorts of things. But it is kind of, it does also do a good point of like teaching you, I guess, about like, look how far these places have come. And look how far they have developed. And so, it's one of those ones where like, it's maybe like, had I seen it in its prime when filled like hundreds of years ago, filled with like big massive species, I would have felt very uncomfortable. But actually there are certain areas throughout it now which clearly have been modernised and do have nicer things. So it's a fun one. It's an interesting one. It is like a very shorter activity, I would say. It's more of not even maybe a morning, maybe a couple hours. You go around, you see some animals, and then you head off and do the botanic gardens that are
Well, that's what I was going to say. From what I remember of it, I remember thinking, oh, it's lovely that it's in these gardens because the gardens themselves are beautiful. Never mind the fact that it's then got the zoo, and I think it had like an observatory and all sorts of different things within the gardens. So the gardens themselves could become like a whole day activity. And this is part of it.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop it though from having things that I'd never seen before. So I'd never seen a guar before. World's biggest cow. Like, never seen one of those. But now I've seen them. I hadn't seen, there were different types of birds that I hadn't seen. There were different types of kind of all sorts of little things that just, certain types of like mountain goats that I'd never seen before. So really, really interesting stuff. A bit like, different from what you would expect from a modern zoo experience, but still really, really interesting. It would, I would say, limited in terms of like food dispensaries and gift shops and stuff just because of its size, but a really nice small piece of history that if you're in Paris, you want to see some animals, why not go along, have a look, learn a little bit, see a couple things, drag your non-zoo friends along to see things like Visay and Warty Pigs and all sorts of stuff. And then you can go about the rest of your day in the city.
It's a smaller commitment for non-zoo people.
Yes.
It's like, it's just a couple hours.
Exactly.
Whereas going out to the larger Paris Zoo, that's more going to be like a whole day commitment.
Exactly. And it also provided me with some iconic moments from my friends who are non-zoo people. And I'm going to air their laundry here because I don't think they listen to this, so they'll never find out. Perhaps my favourite was one of my friends. We were looking at the snow leopards. Lovely animals. She turns and we just hear her shout lion and bolt towards this fence, like clearly so excited because she's like,
she's seen a lion.
It was a horse.
Oh, love that.
And little does she know she's fundamentally changed the way that I see horses for the rest of my life, because now I'm like, every time I see a horse I'm like, lion.
And when you got upon closer inspection, is there any way it could have been confused for a lion?
It was beige.
Okay.
yeah, that's about it.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, it was perhaps not not lionish really, but still lovely. And yeah, I suppose a good short nice experience for a couple hours to go and see the Botanic Gardens. It was really near where we were staying, near the Bastille. So yeah, I would recommend for a little morning activity.
Yeah.
Or if you're a zoo person who's on holiday with zoo people, you could even go by yourself. Kill a
Yeah.
couple hours alone, do this thing, and then off you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I would say a short experience. Worth doing if you're in Paris. But I wouldn't say necessarily plan a whole trip around
Yes.
this zoo necessarily. But yes, do you have any more thoughts on the menagerie before we move on?
I wish that I could have gone back to see it because I remember really loving it when I'd gone previously. And one of the reasons I was so excited to go back to Paris was to go back to both, well, didn't end up going to both, but I wanted to go back to both of them to see it now through the eyes of a zoo person because I hadn't worked in a zoo yet by this point. And I remember loving them so much and I wanted to see if that memory... if it lived up to the hype, now that I looked at it through zoo eyes. So and also just to look at it with that new lens of appreciation as a zoo person, to look at it as one of the oldest zoos in the world and kind of just appreciate that on a new level now. So I'm sad that I didn't get to go back, but I remember enjoying it very much the first time.
Yeah.
It's just an excuse to have to go to Paris again, isn't it?
Yep. And it feels like it's a good, it's one of those ones where I feel like if you're a zoo person, you want to go and see these iconic parts of history and you want to learn about them and you want to see what was done before, what can we learn, what has changed, what species are there now.
I want to go to Vienna purely to see the zoo there because it is number one in terms of being old. I don't know really anything else about Vienna, but I want to go just to see this zoo.
Well, because we went to the Menagerie.
London Zoo.
London, Bristol, RIP.
And now Artis, which
is taking its place.
What's the other one? Is it Belfast or Dublin?
One of them.
It's one of them. I always can't remember which one it is.
We'll do them both in a trip. We'll just do a whole tour of Ireland.
Whole Ireland.
Up and down, both parts, do it all, see it all. Go and see the Giant's Causeway and the Titanic Museum and some other stuff along the way. Worth it, I would say.
Yeah.
But no. So yeah, it was a really good experience. And if you're there, go and check it out. What I would say though is if you are there and you only want to go to one.
You've only got time to go to one.
Yes. While it is perhaps the iconic older zoo, I had a better day at the larger zoo.
Okay.
So this is the one that obviously me and Jodi have both visited more freshly. So you'll be able to offer more hot takes here.
Yes.
This is perhaps where we get more into the regularness of the episode. And yeah, what were you expecting? Because you'd been before, did you remember much? What were you looking forward to? What were you expecting?
Going in, it was funny because it was so familiar to me, even though it had been years since I'd been. And I just went, yep, I remember. And the first thing was that we went in and my auntie needed to go to the toilet. And I was like, oh, there's a toilet right over there, if I remember correctly. And there it was. It was just really...
I feel like going home.
Yeah, it was lovely. Really lovely to be back and feel like, oh yes, I remember this.
Yes. Yeah, it was really nice. I'd never been before. So my first impressions...
I will ask you this time. What was your first impression?
Well, my expectations were high because, for people who don't know, Parc Zoologique du Paris, is a kind of zoo that is purposely built to be a zoo.
It's very modern
It's
feeling
very
as well,
modern.
isn't it?
I believe it kind of was a space and then was kind of completely rebuilt, ground up, to be this way and be designed in the way that it is. And it's broken up into different kind of biozones where you have Patagonia, you have Madagascar, you have Africa, kind of African plains. You have kind of a European zone. So it's very set up to be this way. It's a perfect kind of, we have designed this to be a zoo.
Yeah.
It's not like, it doesn't feel like some zoos where you're like, this is clearly shaped by history and shaped by legacy of oh, there's all these twisty paths that go this way, and then this thing has been built and does change. It's all kind of built in this new modern way.
Yeah.
All centralized around a huge rock that they have built in the center mountain area. And so I had these high expectations because I was kind of excited to see, well, what have they done then? If they purpose built this, what have they done and how have they made it special and how have they used that advantage of being able to do this all fresh to their advantage. And I think they have played it very, very cleverly and very, very well. And actually what I would say, something that I meant to say actually before, is that just to look backwards and forwards, just while we're talking about the biozones, I think the menagerie and this actually fulfill really important parts of the same map. Where the menagerie has Australian wildlife with the cassowary, and it has the kind of little like wallabies, kangaroo type creatures, whereas that's not featured in the big zoo. It has animals that kind of, from biozones that aren't necessarily covered in the big zoo, the little zoo fills in those places. So I think as a unit, they actually work quite well together like that.
As like two sister zoos.
Yes, they work really well together, and it's a really nice combo. So yeah, that was kind of my expectations. I feel like I'd seen Australia and some other parts of the world that are featured in the smaller zoo, had big expectations for this one because I've heard such amazing things, and I remember hearing such amazing things from you when you got back.
Yeah.
And I actually think in our first ever episode of ReZOO, where we talked about what were some of our favourite zoo memories, you mentioned Paris, like the big Paris Zoo, as part of that because you had the manatees. Maybe there was something to do with that.
Yes,
like you were really excited. So
that was the thing that I remembered.
Yeah,
was the manatees. I was so excited to go back and see them.
Big expectations. And so yes, that's us kind of there. You go up the gateway and the building when you move in to that space. Beautiful. There is kind of a gift shop, cafe, classic kind of combo at the beginning. Gift shop we'll come back to because I loved it.
Yeah.
But then you have a choice. Because this thing has been purpose built to be a zoo, it is very much one loop.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get lost. There are a couple places where it tucks in on itself and stuff, but for the majority, it's a loop. You can either go left through Madagascar, you can go right through Patagonia. I think we went opposite ways, but which way did you go, Jodi?
Well, this is what was confusing because the first time I went, we hit the Madagascar and the big manatee house first.
Okay.
Whereas this time, we arrived first thing in the morning, and I think that area was still closed off, so it sort of funneled us the other way.
Oh.
So I ended up going the opposite way than I'd gone last time.
Through Patagonia first?
Yes, we went that way first.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I did the same, so that works brilliantly.
Yes.
So yes, first you come to Patagonia, which I always think of now. There's a drag queen called Patagonia, which I think is a great name. Hilarious, amazing. But Patagonia, an area which is in kind of South America, features, of course, animals like the Patagonian Mara, Rhea, guanacos, which I kind of like llamas, Patagonian sea lions, I want to say. Are they sea lions?
Yep.
Sea lions, penguins, who else am I forgetting? Pumas, all sorts of amazing species, and species that are often not given the spotlight they deserve, I feel, in zoos. And I don't know why, because to put together, they form such a biodiverse, interesting space of like, look at the diversity of this one place. And I think that's the benefit, I guess, of the biozones, is you have these things. And what were your impression of the first?
I remembered the big sea lion and penguin bit from last time. That was the area of this biozone that stuck in my mind. But this time, what stood out to me now as a zoo person was the big habitat that had all the Mara in it, because
it was huge.
Yes, and we've got Mara at my place of work now. There's a little family of them, just a little small family, very cute. Spend a lot of time talking to people about them because they never know what they are.
Yep.
So when we approached this habitat, and there were just so many
I've
Mara.
never seen so many Mara.
I had to just stop and take a video and send it to my friend who is a keeper for the Mara at my work, and was just like, look at all of them, look at them. And my auntie, who again is not a zoo person, didn't really understand why I was so excited.
About the weird rabbit creature.
Yeah. And I was like, no. And I think she called them wee kangaroo things. That was her take on the Mara.
I love, if you ever need an honest opinion on something, go to Fife. Because we will not pull our punches. Look at the wee kangaroo things.
It wasn't even things, it was actually hings. But I didn't what are they? Wee kangaroo hings is how she said it. I didn't want to say it like that for the non-Scottish listeners because they wouldn't have a clue what I was saying. But yeah, that's what she took from the Mara. I
love it.
Loved it.
Wee kangaroo hings. Love them. Love them. No, I love them. I think the sea lions were really the standout for me.
Yeah.
Because they were chunky. They were some big boys.
Yeah.
And like, just
big
like...
space as well. Big for them and for the penguins next door.
Yeah,
Penguins
really nice.
were in like nesting season. There was babies. It was just good vibes all around when I was
It was
there.
really, really good.
Yeah.
Other standout, which I forgot to mention when I was first talking about them, poodoo. Always love a poodoo.
Yeah,
How much poo could a poodoo do if a poodoo could do poo? Good question. We'll never know.
And the pumas.
Which I think is one of the only places you can see pumas in Europe.
Yeah. We didn't see them the first time.
Oh, did
we
you
did
not?
have to look back, and we spotted them the second time, but they were sleeping. It was a very hot day.
Oh,
when we
ours
were
were,
there.
when I went, they were like slapped, both of them, right next to the windows. Like,
Well, there was a
Here we
little
are.
kind of bed right in front of the windows that you could tell is there as a bed, but sadly it was not sleeping in the bed at the time. It was
that's
sleeping
annoying.
hidden in a bush. So we saw it later, and I'm glad that we did because, not something you see every day.
yeah, a good start, I would say. A good start. I would say this is the other thing as well. Is like I was having to go with like, because I had only a few hours left in the city of Paris, I was like, oh, I've got to do this quite quickly. I didn't have all day to do it. So I was kind of like, oh, how do I pace myself here? But like, I wanted to stop and look at all of these things for a long time, which I think is a good start and a good sign of an interesting thing. So yeah, you kind of move through Patagonia, you see all these amazing things, and then you come onto their kind of African plains area, I suppose. Madagascar, also Africa, but different vibes completely.
Yeah.
So you come into the African plains area, and that features all of your kind of classic safari animals that you'll see in kind of cartoons and Lion King and stuff, where you have rhinos, hornbills, zebras, lions, roan antelope, giraffes, kudus, moor gazelle, ostrich, cranes, meerkats, Guinea baboons, bat-eared foxes, and there's also an aviary. So a huge kind of
Really,
area.
everything you could want from Africa.
I think this is probably one of the biggest areas of the zoo if we're looking at the map.
Yeah, definitely.
You kind of come into it with the lions and the rhinos, always gonna be classic kind of like things. I don't know, when I went, the lions they have this big rock in the center of their habitat, and in there they were sat doing full Pride Rock lifting of Simba above the crowd. Where were they? Did you have a similarly poetic experience?
No, the lions were the only thing I didn't see, and we went back
Really?
3 times and we didn't see a single lion. So I don't know where they were, and you know me, I'm good at spotting them. I know the places to look. We could not see a lion.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking to me because they were so visible.
And the fact that, you know, that their whole habitat is just got the glass wall pretty much all the way along one side.
Yeah, and there's bits like different windows.
Yeah,
and...
we tried them all. We couldn't see a lion.
Oh, there must have been lions somewhere awkward.
must have been.
Dear.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Did, however, see the rhinos, and they were impressive.
Big and chunky.
Yeah.
Big.
Love a rhino.
Love rhinos. Yeah.
Great.
Good. In with like zebras and all sorts of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, I don't know, rhinos never disappoint. They're white rhinos, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, and just great. Just loved them. Just loved them. Yeah, because they have that kind of head that like is lower. I feel like black rhinos keep their head, or like their head is kind of up.
Yeah.
White rhinos kind of feel more slumped over.
Yeah, like almost like top heavy with the heads.
Yeah,
like they
the
go
massive
down, but
horde.
I guess being grazers rather than browsers, they're more the head's low to the ground.
They're like, yum,
They're
here we
munching.
go.
Yeah.
Here we go. And yeah, so then you move on. Some of the other standouts, I guess, in this area, giraffe.
Yes.
Obviously, always a fan
I
favourite.
do love them out on their plane with the big rock
In the background.
structure in the background, because it is given Pride Rock. Like,
Yeah.
it is just an excellent
Huge.
photo opportunity if
Yeah.
you get the giraffes in front of it.
Yeah, and I love how... Because the giraffes can get into that big mixed species habitat as well, can't they? Because...
I think that's where they were when I was there.
Yeah, so...
With the ostriches and things.
Yeah, there's this huge area in the centre of this Africa zone where there's giraffes, kudu, moor gazelle, cranes, all sorts of stuff. And it's this huge plain area with a rock in the background. There's also like a boardwalk. Did you go on that? That kind of goes around the side.
Goes
And it's
over
like
the water.
level with the water.
Yeah.
And then
Again,
there's
maybe
just
it'd be like, how many kids have
giraffe.
fallen in there? Oh, terrifying.
But incredible.
Yeah.
Then there's like the cafe that like overlooks it. It's just an incredible use of space, an incredible like felt unique experience. I know we've just talked about in the last one Prague and how it had a huge, massive African plains, but this again felt special to me.
Yeah, we sat and had lunch in that cafe, so you're sat right next to it and you're just watching the giraffes and the ostrich, just...
And I went out just as they were going out to put food out and stuff for them, and the way that like they started like the gazelle like ran and were jumping. It was very Lion King. They were jumping over things, and like the kudu were just looking like all big and sassy and walking around, and the giraffes were just fluttering those big eyelashes, and it was just like amazing.
I'm in a Disney film.
Yeah. It's just great. I loved it.
The pinkest ostrich I've ever seen.
Pinkest?
Yes. So, like, a boy, I'm guessing. Well, yes, because he had his black feathers.
Oh, no.
But all of the skin was the colour of your shirt. For the benefit of the listeners, Jack is wearing a lovely sort of, would we say salmon pink coloured shirt?
It's actually, yes, it's I bought it to be it was part of my Laura Dern in Jurassic Park Halloween costume, and the colour is rusty salmon.
There you go. Well, Google that colour, listeners, and you will see the colour that this ostrich was.
What part of the ostrich?
Anything that was not the feathers. Yeah.
Oh dear.
To the point where my auntie was like, "Is it sunburned?" So, yes, was giving that vibe, just again to add to the mental picture. Oh no, Jack's gone. We've lost him. We've lost Jack. So yeah, just to give you the idea of how pink this ostrich was. Really, he was feeling something. Something.
That might be my favourite moment of ReZOO. Oh, is he sunburned? Oh, what's he been burning? Oh no, poor guy.
So he was cutting about all day, having a great time. So see, look at all these memories from this one part of the zoo. What an experience.
And it was just fabulous. I loved it. Moving on very swiftly. Let's not think about that anymore. Then you kind of go up, and there's more African animals. There's meerkats and the bat-eared fox.
Yes.
Did you see both of those? Because I felt the bat-eared fox could have been a hard spot.
We didn't see the meerkats. I don't know where they were. We did not see them. It was a really sunny day. You'd have thought they'd been out doing their thing, but they were not. They are kind of tucked away in the middle of that little bit where
there's an aviary and stuff.
The only bit where it isn't just a simple loop. There are a few little paths that you could miss. So they're kind of tucked away. We did not see them. I think I saw the bat-eared fox.
It's a fox with big ears.
Yeah, I think I saw it. And then there was an aviary there, right, that you could walk through?
Yes, that had an incredible collection of
there was a keeper
birds
in there feeding them at the time, so we got to see feeding time, and that was impressive.
I can imagine it was also quite scary though, because you are also on a very similar
to
the
on the boardwalk in the middle of the water, and these birds are just swooping down, not even stopping, like perching on her, just swooping, grabbing the food out of her upheld hand, and then flying off. So she had to be very confident in the fact that that bird was not about to take her out.
The ab strength in case one hit her.
Yeah, she'd have been in the water. And if ever you wanted to cross the boardwalk, you had to just time it right and just duck and run. So that was quite a dramatic experience.
This Barbie is a queen. That's what I want. That Barbie, zookeeper Barbie, who just gets attacked by flocks of birds.
Yeah,
love that. So cool. And was there were spoonbills? There were turcos, the like little green things. There was flamingos in there, wasn't there?
I can't even remember.
There was just such a wide selection of wading birds.
Yeah.
And like I feel like you could sit there for hours and just you'd see new stuff popping up and doing stuff, and like I'd get to the end and then I'd look back and be like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back. There's something else I missed.
Yeah.
Like such a good little aviary. Like, and this is kind of like, at this point, you're kind of like within the rock.
Yeah, you're
almost.
like underneath it almost, like in the shadow of the rock. You're right
like,
in the base.
Within the shadow of the rock, there's this. Then there's also kind of the baboons, which are amazing. Like built on this huge rock, like climbing all over the place. It's a huge space for them. You could imagine thousands of them sat out on this rock. It reminded me a lot of when I went to South Africa. I was very lucky to see like these monkeys like sat like just like all over. Like we went to the Cape of Good Hope, and they were just kind of sat by the road, and like it reminded me of that almost. So it was a nice like throwback memory there. And then yes, on the other side of the rock, you kind of have done like all this Africa stuff. There's then a big vulture aviary built into it as well for the Europe section, I guess. And like It's amazing. Like this whole thing. Then you go into the rock.
Yes.
To go into like, there's like a vivarium bit. So there's all this bits. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, you're under the rock. You've seen the baboons. You've seen the African kind of central aviary.
Did you go into the giraffe house?
I did go into the giraffe house. Before we move on, what did you think of the giraffe house?
I liked the giraffe house. I thought it was a nice space. There were some giraffes inside when we were there. Their enrichment was really good. I was appreciating that as a zoo person because they were using some of the fire hose that we use, and I know from experience that stuff is so heavy. And this was probably the longest bit of... Do you remember making Scoobies when we were young?
Where you'd like tie the little rubber bandy things?
Yeah, I don't know if everyone will get that reference. You can Google it if not. Google Scoobies. The little things.
Maybe I should Google that to make sure it's not turned into a rude thing.
Oh, well, yeah. But yeah, the little strings that you'd weave together and you could make little key rings and stuff. Everyone was obsessed with them when I was young. So it's basically like a Scooby made out of fire hose. So it's so strong, and then you can like hide food in it or stick branches through it. And it's great for something like a giraffe because you can hang it up from the ceiling and make it as long as you want. And excellent. So they had probably the biggest, longest one of them I've ever seen, which...
It doesn't seem to be rude, so that's good.
Oh, great. Yeah, and then we also saw one of their keepers was in the house at the time, and she opened up this hatch that I guess is in like their food prep kitchen. She opened it up and like called the giraffes down and then was doing some training with them when they like bent down and doing some feeding with them, and it was just really great to see them working with them in that way. Like you could just tell that the trust between like this keeper and these giraffes, like they obviously work with them and do training with them all the time because it was just magnificent to watch. It was really, really great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Loved it.
Love
really
that.
nice little moment.
Love that. Oh, and on that positive note, shall we end off the kind of like Africa area?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Lovely. I guess then we move into Europe. We go around the other side of the rock. As I said, there's the vultures, there's wolves, there's lynx, and there's also a little kind of area which has European species of frogs and snakes and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a really good... It's probably one of the smaller areas, but it's really good. It's what it's got is excellent.
Do you know, an observation I had about this was, in my mind, the bit inside the rock was huge last time. And I remember going around this time and thinking, oh, I feel like we've gone through that a lot quicker than before. And I don't know if that's just my perception or if...
I felt like I was in there for ages.
Oh, maybe then. I don't know. I did wonder, like, I wonder if this used to be bigger and they've closed a bit of it off. I'm not sure. I could be
I felt like I was in there for hours.
Making that up.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I liked it as well. It was one of the bits, again, that I remembered from last time was being in the rock.
It was great. 10 out of 10. Loved the rock, being in there with like the little frogs, and it started raining actually when I went in, so I was like, perfect timing. There's all the little frogs.
One of those, it's just a really good thing, especially if you've got kids or something. You need to kill a bit of time because you can spend time in there being like, right, find the snake, find the frogs, because you could spend a good few minutes at each thing just trying to find the animal to start with.
Yeah.
So if you're going to actually take the time to do it, you can spend a lot of time in this area.
Yeah, and I think what was nice about it is that I think like a lot of the time people think of Europe, and when they think of European wildlife, they think
deer,
maybe wolves, if they're feeling a bit out there. They think of like some larger like mammals,
yeah,
and maybe birds. They don't think about necessarily really cool snakes or frogs or like all these other things. And so it was nice to have those featured in a European section. Yeah. And what else I appreciated was that like the planting also outside, not just in this cave area, but like outside drastically changed when we're looking at the Africa area and the Patagonia area. The planting in this area felt more like a European forest. It felt more like home because like it felt like I've done many hiking adventures throughout my life through like the Scottish Highlands and all sorts of places, and this felt like, oh, this is familiar. These plants feel familiar, and obviously with the European biome and areas, like of course the plants are familiar to things that I'm around all the time, so it was actually a really nice change. Don't know if you noticed that as well. I remember it because I'm thinking of this area, I'm thinking about being in the shade, which was very welcome on a very hot day. We had different experiences.
Yeah, I went to Paris at the end of June and it was very, very hot.
What we took, 30 degrees?
Yeah, it was probably up there with that.
And we're Scottish, so we shouldn't be in the sun that much.
No. And I, funnily enough, my memory of Parc Zoologique from last time was that it was roasting hot as well. So I have only ever been there on a very hot day. And because it is very modern and sort of open and flat, you are just under that sun the whole day. So yes, coming to this point where you're actually in the shade of the rock and you've got all the trees around you was a very welcome bit of respite.
Yeah, fair. What did you think of wolves, lynx?
We did manage to see the wolves. They were
Sat on a rock?
under a little rocky bit, like a little den bit. And that way of, had I not been a zoo person, I probably wouldn't have spotted them, but I knew where to look. So we spotted a sleeping wolf. Is this where the wolverines were?
Yes.
I don't think we saw the wolverines, but I did warn my auntie that was to be expected because they're very elusive. I also said the same thing when we went to the lynx and then got absolutely shown up because the lynx was just sitting there as if to be like, what are you talking about? Right
I'm
there.
right here. I'm always here. What are you looking at?
One of the easiest spots of a lynx I've ever had. Yeah. Saw the lynx. That was great.
Loved it. Yeah. Lovely. I had similar experiences where like it took me a while.
Yeah.
This stage I was getting a bit snacky, so I bought like a bit I think I bought a pretzel or something. It was in Europe. Gotta eat European food. I was in the European biozone. Gotta be done. I mean, like, I guess they're also kind of New York. I don't know. I don't know where pretzels come from. Anyway, that's a hole we don't need to go down. So yes, got like a little pretzel. Went for a wander around. Sat in the kind of like the shade. And I think what's nice about this is looking at these large predators, looking at the birds, looking at these things that are maybe like underappreciated or extinct in certain areas now or moved in certain areas, all these different things. It felt nice to have them all here in this place. And I guess especially someone from the UK where nature is depleted in terms of their big carnivores and big species of many things. It was nice to see Europe presented in this way where here, Europe is often presented in a way that's like, we have deer.
Yeah,
like,
we've got some birds and like some deer.
So it was actually really nice to see this kind of like very different presentation necessarily than would usually be done.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we have things like the Highland Wildlife Park and stuff, but like, yeah, it was nice. It was really, really good. Really, really good. Yeah. Really, really liked it. And yeah. Then into a jarring transition, I suppose. We're back to South America. We're really globetrotting here. Not Patagonia, but more of the kind of like rainforest atmosphere where you have the kind of jaguars, you have different species of monkey, you have bush dogs, you have the tapirs. Was there capybara?
Yes.
I forgot to put them on the list, but there's capybara.
They were in there with the tapirs.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time standing at that enclosure.
Yes. I loved. They're having a viral resurgence, or capybara.
And so they should.
What did you think then? What did you think?
Well, we were lucky. We went just as two keepers came in to feed them. So they were feeding the capybaras and the tapirs. And we just stood and watched them munching away. And honestly, what a vibe. The vibes were immaculate.
Lovely.
I was having a great time. It was the point of, normally when we go to a zoo, you're the one stood at something for ages, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to slowly start walking away. Your auntie was
trying to abandon you.
She had long since abandoned me. She was gone. She was in the next biozone by this point, and I was still standing watching these capybara. And I was just like, oh, but look at them eating.
Oh, so, I mean, fair.
I was having a great time.
Very, very cute, to be fair.
Yeah.
This is true. I kind of was the same with the jaguars.
Yeah.
I just love them. I just thought they were like so beautiful and very posed and photogenic.
Well,
and
that's
like,
what I was
here
going to say.
am.
I don't know about you, because you would think jaguars, they're going to be a tricky spot. They're going to be elusive. Both times I've been to Parc Zoologique, I remember vividly the vision of me rounding that corner to the big glass wall of their enclosure and the black one just being right there. Just being like, oh,
hey, fight me.
Yeah, there it is. So yeah.
Great. Loved it.
I know, we just couldn't have asked for anything more.
Oh.
Right there. Star of the show. We did manage to see both of them. Or I say both, I assume there was only two.
Yes. Because there's the kind of black and then there's the kind of like more classic spotty pattern as well. Yeah,
both of them absolutely gorgeous.
The beautiful eyes. Big round eyes. Beautiful big round eyes. I don't know what their secret is, but they just seem to have a level of like
and just
glamour and gorgeousness.
And just one of those big cats that's like, you don't see this all the time. You're not going to see one of them in
Yeah.
every zoo, so it is just really impressive to see them.
Yeah. And again, also there was the peccaries, which we mentioned last time in the Parc Zoologique, but yeah, also here, also loved them. Big old piggies.
Loads of them as well.
Yeah.
We couldn't see any, and then my auntie went, "Oh, there's one behind that tree, I think." And it was like Russian dolls. Like one came out, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. Like all this, and I was like, "Where have they all come from? All behind this one tree." And there was loads.
Just so good. So good. I feel like we're rushing through this, but I'm so excited about all of the different things.
Yeah.
There was and it was just amazing little like section. And again, you're just following the path round. You're going on this adventure that's like
it's really
led.
easy to just
It's a very curated experience.
Keep flowing, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it just flows you on.
It's nice. And it feels like, it feels like a really nice curated experience that you kind of come through and you see these things and do whatever. But I loved it. I thought it was very, very well done. And then we come to the piece de resistance.
The bit I was waiting for.
The glass house. Which I guess is like half still kind of South America-y, half Madagascar-y.
Yeah, it's quite a good transitional
Yes,
zone.
so it's a big kind of glass house. Typically, glass houses are something I think of associated with botanic gardens filled with plants. No, this was a glass house of a zoo where there were parrots, there were ibis, there were spoonbills, there were snakes, there were lizards, there were manatees, there were monkeys, there were lemurs, there were toucans. There was all sorts of amazing stuff in there, and like I don't even really know where to begin. I guess my first, if we walk round, the first things that I saw were obviously these ibis that were just kind of all over the place. Beautiful, amazing, wonderful. Then I came to a snake. Did you see the big snake?
Yes.
When I went in,
so many snakes.
that big snake was holding a very big rabbit.
Oh.
Which was a lot
Yeah.
to process.
Yeah.
And certainly there were a lot of children engaged and watching. But I was like, this is one of the most graphic and also interesting things I've ever seen in terms of like a snake eating. Because usually you see like a corn snake or something being fed like a tiny little white mouse that they've kind of fed it. This was like buffet time, and like it had just gone all in on this. Oh, it was so cool. It was really interesting to see. I couldn't look at it for too long, I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot because I hadn't had lunch yet and I was kind of like but it was still really good. Really interesting. Trying to think what else. There were monkeys.
Did you see the rays? So there were was it chameleons? Something like that, right? Up in this leafy tree-ish
The iguanas near the start.
Maybe it was the iguanas. Yeah, it was right near the start, and then round about them at the bottom was water. And there was rays in there.
I didn't notice that.
I think it was little spotted rays.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't actually either. It was my auntie that spotted them, because you're so busy looking at the bushes and the trees in front
of you. It's like a sensory overload.
Yeah, and then look down and it's like, oh, there's a few little rays swimming around in there. So I thought that was a lovely. I suppose it was really a mishmash of quite a few different things all kind of chucked in here, but it just works somehow and it's great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And we've not even got to my favourite bit yet, which were the manatees.
Yes.
Again, something we've not really seen many places before, if ever. The only time I can remember seeing them previously was when I was in Florida.
This is what I remembered from Paris Zoo. This is what I was excited
floor
for.
to ceiling glass, water, manatees eating a lot of lettuce, chomping away up at the glass, looking at the little whiskers go.
Honestly, could have stood there all day. And the last time I went there, I remember it being really busy and you couldn't really get in and get a good view. Whereas it was only us that were there.
Really?
At that point, it was so
lucky,
amazing, really amazing.
Wow, and
they're just like big gentle giants, like munching away on their lettuce.
I could spend days watching them. Days.
Another one where it's like the vibes. The vibes. I want to be you right now. That's all I want from life. It's just that.
Yeah.
Whatever this is, I want it.
It was just like incredible. Like, I just think like so incredible. Like, and something that you're not going to see everywhere.
Yeah.
Something that makes it special. Something that makes it unique. Something that makes it very, very different from anywhere else that I've been before. Like, really makes it stand out. And I think of all of the things at Paris Zoo, both of them, while they are interesting and iconic things around, this is the thing that's like, you're it.
Yeah.
You're the star.
You're the moment.
You know you're the star.
You're Barbie
I know
right
you're
now.
the star. We all know you're the star. You're the star of this whole place. And I just couldn't stop watching them.
Can you imagine being a manatee keeper?
What a dream. What a dream.
Whoever that is, they are living the dream.
And did you notice there was some pretty hefty fish in there with them as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, pretty big things swimming around. And it was just like such a fun space. And like, it was amazing to see kids be inspired by something so weird but cute but wonderful. Like, just amazing. And you could see it in their faces as they looked at it. And I could see it in my face. I was like re-inspired watching these kids become inspired by this thing. It was just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Couldn't have asked for more. And then I was delivered even more with the toucans. Because, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but for the last year, I've been on a mission to get a picture of a toucan. It went poorly several times.
Yep.
Where every time my camera would fog up, or it would move, or it would jump behind something, or it would disappear into a house, or a bar would get in the way, or I would do this, or I would do that. But it finally happened here. And like, just so photogenic, so beautiful. These toucans, big orange bills, black feathers, beautiful eyes, eating, throwing stuff in the air and catching it. Just great. Couldn't have asked for more.
They knew you'd been waiting.
I had been waiting, and they were posers. It was it was Paris Fashion Week just for me, featuring toucans. It was just brilliant, and I loved it.
Well, speaking of Paris Fashion Week and birds, I took a picture of a bird and sent it to you, and yeah, this is the supermodel of the bird.
Was
world.
it the ibis?
I don't know. It was like this weird patchwork of like black and pink and orange and white feathers, and it was just one of the most beautiful birds I've ever seen. Oh,
I've just opened our chat to see if I can find it, and we have sent each other 3,000 pictures in our time. How is that possible?
It was only a few months ago, so it should be there somewhere.
How is that possible?
Let me see if I can find it. I don't know what it was, but I sent it to you and was just like, look at this. I loved it.
Oh.
Let me see if I can find it.
Where are you? Oh, I've got it. This guy.
Yes,
that's an
that
ibis,
a
I think.
Stunning bird.
It is.
The ibis, just never letting us down. Just when we think we can't appreciate them more, they pull out another little variation out the bag.
Yeah.
Love that.
Oh. I've just also opened another photo that I once sent you, which was posted by another zoo. I'm not going to say who it is on air, but it's the funniest picture I've ever seen because they blurred a meerkat's genitals.
Oh, yeah.
And it's my favourite thing that I've ever seen in my life. It's so funny. Anyway. But yes, it was great. It was like so cool. The birds were amazing. It was such an immersive experience. The sounds, the smells, the movement, the water, the trickling, the everything, just like perfect.
This was another one that had, just as you were about to leave, there was lemurs, which I guess leads on to what's outside. But again, more like we discussed in the Prague ReZOO before this, it's nice to come across an animal where you think, oh, it's a lemur. I know about lemurs. But to come across a lemur that you've never encountered before, that's really exciting to me.
Which one was it?
I can't remember now.
Was it the Sifakas?
No, it wasn't them.
Because they have them at Chester.
There was a few, I think, where I went, oh, I've not seen that type of lemur before. Yeah. I can't remember what they were now, but they were eating. They'd just been fed. And then obviously you head on outside and you see some of the more well-known favourites of the lemur world.
Yes, red ruffs, wasn't there? White ruffs, red ruffs.
There was ringtails as well.
There was ant fossa.
Diving about. Yep.
Which, not a lemur, but a lemur's nightmare. And then, what else? There was the Sifakas, which are very, very rare. They have them at Chester here in the UK, but they are very limited places in Europe where you can see them. Amazing. Loved them. And I guess, there was chameleons inside for Madagascar. There was sorts of tortoises, reptiles, a little aquarium.
Yeah.
Like the Madagascar. So basically, we've transitioned now. The last zone is Madagascar.
Yeah.
And it is this kind of lemur central bit where you transfer out of kind of South America into Madagascar.
Which makes sense, them being the stars, being endemic to Madagascar and all of that.
And again, I say it every time we encounter a Madagascar or a lemur walkthrough or whatever it is, amazing messaging, important messaging, incredible place. We have a whole series all about lemurs and the wonderful places in which they live and the wonderful people who are there to protect them, as well as all sorts of other species like tortoises and fossa and all sorts of cool things. So go and listen to those if you haven't already. But if you have, amazing. Great. Love you. It was so good.
And
I
you
really loved it.
Can't really go wrong, can you? And the first time I visited Paris Zoo, I went here first and it made such an amazing first impression. I do actually think it was a really nice way to end it as well. It's just a good one to end it on.
Yeah.
Because it leaves a really nice last warm, fuzzy impression.
Yes, I think so. And then that gets you to the end. Mm-hmm. Again, like a wonderful zoo, a lovely day. I think the way we have spoken about this one is so enthusiastic, so wonderful, so you can tell our excitement for it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, as I say, if you were a zoo person going to Paris alone, which of the two would you pick? Big Paris Zoo or Little Paris Zoo? You've got to pick one.
Probably the big one,
big
purely
one?
because you can spend a bit more time there.
And if you had non-zoo friends with you, who would you pick? Which one would you pick? Big or little?
That's trickier because the small one, if it's not zoo people, then maybe just spending a few hours is the way to get them there. They might not want to commit to a whole day, but they're going to see more of the typical big hitters like giraffes, rhinos, etc. if they go to the big one. So
This is my feeling as well.
Yeah, that's
Could
a tricky
sway
one.
It. And in terms of like timing, I actually got round the whole of the Big Paris Zoo probably in about 4 hours.
Yeah, I actually got around
hours.
it much quicker than I remember
so
doing.
You can
and could
do
go round
it
again.
And I think because it is designed to be a loop, like that's a very doable thing, is that like, oh well, we can just keep going, like, and you can get around quite quickly if you want to. So I would say obviously Paris is a city filled with museums, galleries, like the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, all of these things.
Because I do feel like the Menagerie is kind of a little bit more central, so you can probably walk to it from wherever you are, whereas you are going to have to get transport out to the bigger zoo. So maybe that would sway people.
Yeah.
So really, I guess it just depends what you're looking for, what type of day you want to have.
Exactly.
But I think neither one is the wrong answer.
Fair. Good diplomatic pageant answer. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. I guess before we move on to our 2 stars and a wish, any bonus stuff you have to mention?
Bonus stuff.
About either of the zoos?
We went and had lunch at, as I say, the cafe next to the big giraffe.
That's where I had lunch.
And I thought it was good. Yeah. Nice selection of things that you could have.
Sandwiches,
I think we had already
cookies.
taken our own sort of sandwiches or baguettes or something, so we were just looking for a few snacks to kind of go with it. But all of the snacks that we had were very acceptable, and just really nice to sit outside under some shade in the hot sun in the hottest part of the day and just chill for a bit and just sit and watch the animals. And I always appreciate it when zoo cafes are next to animal habitats, because then you can just sit and
I always think about the like Whipsnade Zoo Cafe where the ibis was like
there.
Like, hi. What was the other thing I was going to say about that? And what I appreciate, if you're a tourist and you've been on the go and you've been taking lots of pictures, you go inside that cafe, lots of plugs. Lots of plugs. So I was able to charge my phone for a little bit before I kept moving.
That's an important feature that people forget about.
Yeah, especially when you're in a city where you don't necessarily speak the language particularly well.
Yeah.
Or like whatever it is. It's really... and you've had to get public transport there and you're alone and like all of these things.
Yeah.
Like it's really useful to be able to take a minute to just plug it in.
And gift shop. This was a good gift shop.
Guidebook. Did you look at the guidebook?
I don't think I did look at the guidebook.
When I say guidebook, it's less guide, more book.
Okay.
It is insane. I meant to bring it with me, but I left it at home. It is huge. It was thick. It had amazing pictures. It had amazing information. They had it in English and French and all sorts of different languages. So good. So good. It was expensive, from what I can remember. Like it was, I think, about 10-ish euros. But worth every penny. Okay. Every penny. Loved it.
Interesting.
And then, magnets, photos, pictures, drawings, books, cuddly toys, everything you could want in this gift shop.
I
Probably one of the best zoo gift shops of all time.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, because a lot of the time gift shops sway towards catering for children,
Yeah.
and there are some things that adults will like, but it's very much more aimed at the kids. Whereas in here, I think there was a really good balance of adults and kids and everyone in between.
Yeah.
And what was nice as well is, I don't know about you, but I feel like us having worked in different zoo places, you kind of get used to certain brands that always show up in zoo gift shops. Like, we always recognise them no matter where in the world we are. Stuff is familiar to us. So it was nice to see familiar zoo retailers, I guess, stock in the shop, but other stuff as well, stuff that I hadn't seen before, which was just really refreshing. And there was, normally I always like to go for a little peruse of the gift shop, but I kind of know I'm probably not going to buy anything. Whereas in this shop, I was like, oh, I actually might buy stuff.
What did you buy?
I don't think I did buy anything in the end. By that point, my non-zoo person I was with was very hot and crabby and just kind of was ready to go. But yes, we also, I don't know if this was there when you were there, but when we'd first gone in, a little bit into the trail in Patagonia, there was a photographer.
Oh, I hard swerved because I was alone, because I thought that would be sad.
Yeah, well, because we were together, we got talked into taking a photo. So then when you go into the gift shop at the end, there's somebody there at the photo desk who asks you, like, when you arrived, what time you arrived, so they can try to find you in the thing, and you can have a look at the photos. So that's a nice little touch.
Were they nice?
Well. They couldn't find ours, so I didn't get to see them. I was not intending to buy them anyway, because I was very hot and sweaty, and
I find
a zoo day, I was dressed for practicality and the heat and for lots of walking.
Not for professional level photography.
Not at all was I dressed for professional level photography, thank you very much. But a nice little touch if you were in the market for that.
Yeah, if you want family memories and stuff.
That's cute.
That is nice, especially because I find I love a phone picture, but there's something nice about a good professional camera picture. Mm-hmm. So I get that. I can see that. Yeah. Nice. Well then, I guess that is everything that we have to mention about Paris, both of the Menagerie and the bigger Parc Zoologique du Paris. Loved them. Really great experiences. Great bit of history. Great bit of learning. Great bit of modern zoo design. Just overall, a great pair of things to have double billed, and I'm glad that I went to them both. I was on the fence about going to the big one because obviously it was my last day, but like the friends that I was with were like very firm on doing one thing, and I was like, well, actually I'm not that fussed for going and sitting in a cafe. And then it turned out they were like, we got ripped off. We went and sat in one of those classic like Instagram-y cafes where like, because they have a pink flower wall, they charge €30 for some pancakes, that kind of vibe. So I was like, oh, I made the correct choice.
Yes. Fair.
And overall, loved it. Now, 2 stars and a wish. 2 stars for the Paris Zoo. First star, Jodi, what is it?
Has to be the manatees. Gotta be.
You stole mine. Okay,
Gotta be.
Fair.
It's like why I went back, you know?
Yeah. That is, I would agree. There's nothing more magical than those manatees. I think they are iconic. They're interesting. They're the stars of the show. They're something you'll not see anywhere else.
That's it. They have to get the star because they are the stars.
True. I guess if I can't pick the manatees, I will pick I really like the baboon space. But I don't know if it's going to be a star. Oh, what a tease! But I don't know. I'm trying to think of something like more. Maybe that little. Actually, I'm going to go with the little vivarium space where it was like all of the reptiles, amphibians, and stuff. Because I love the focus on European reptiles and amphibians, where we don't usually get that. We usually get mammal.
Yeah.
So I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
So that'd be my first one. Second one.
What gets my second one? I just really like Madagascar with all the lemurs. And I like that it wasn't just like, here's some ring-tailed lemurs, tick. It was like a real walkthrough of many different lemur
types.
And lemur alternatives. It was just...
Lemur alternatives. Like milk alternatives.
I just really
Soy,
enjoyed that bit.
almond.
And I think as a last bit, it's a really nice finisher, and it just sets the right tone for finishing the day.
Lovely.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I guess mine would be the African plain. With the big rock in the background, like
And the
my second
sunburned
star.
ostrich.
The sunburned ostrich. Iconic. Loved it. Great little area. Great massive area.
Yeah.
Excellent. And it just goes to show, I guess, if you plan a zoo to be a zoo, you can make a really interesting route and design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like that becomes a really interesting habitat when actually on paper it's really simple. That is a really simple idea. Just this big open plains with lots of mixed species, but when it's done well, something really simple
elevated.
can be elevated and have a really great impact. And it's like you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That just reminds me of RuPaul.
Well,
Again,
yeah.
it always comes back to Ru. Don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Just be the wheel.
That's it.
The wheel is often just good enough. No, it's so good. So good. Wishes.
My wish is to do with the toilets.
Why?
Which we've not talked about yet. And this comes because, remember at the start of this ReZOO, I said that I'd gone in and my auntie
And you remembered where the toilets were.
So I'm sat outside waiting on her coming back out. She comes out and she goes, "Do you and Jack still ReZOO zoos?" And I said, "Yes." She went, "Well, here's a point for your ReZOO. Don't like those toilets." So I thought,
why?
I'll remember.
I'm going in.
But do you know what was really funny? Is I went, well, I remember visiting last time and the only bad thing that was stuck in my mind was those toilets because they didn't have toilet seats. And she was like, "Yes, there's no toilet seats." I don't know.
Designed to not have toilet seats, or someone had broken the toilet seats off.
When I went, remember thinking they're all broken, there's no toilet seats. But now I've gone back about 4 years later and my auntie's telling me there's still no toilet seats. So maybe that's just the design. I went into another set of toilets, the ones next to the cafe where we had lunch. And
did they have toilet seats?
I think they did have toilet seats. Perhaps not what we're used to in the UK, but they had some semblance of a toilet seat. But my complaint about that toilet was that the sinks were really confusing. The taps were really confusing. And when you don't, I'm not familiar. Well, no, it was just really confusing. Like they just, I don't know, the knobs and stuff were just different than what we're used to in the UK. And it took me a minute to figure out what was going on there. So just overall, the toilets in Parc Zoo, stressing people out needlessly. Doesn't need to be that stressful. It's just a toilet.
Jodi, I'm really concerned you might have undermined your credibility.
Why?
Because you can't work a tap.
I know, but that's what I mean. When I'm standing there going, I can't even get this tap to switch on. Like I tried the first one and thought, this one must be broken. You know, sometimes you get those automatic taps and they're just not working.
The sensor's not working.
I thought, it's not working. Move to the next one. It's not coming on either. So I was like, no, it must be me. And then eventually a French woman goes to the one next to me and I watch what she does and I have to copy her. But if your tap design is not automatically obvious, evident to somebody,
you're
then
really enraged by this.
I was like, I don't need a tap to be giving me this much grief. I don't need this. So just the fact that had been a point that stuck in my mind from the last time, and then it's come back this time for both me and my auntie, it made me think, okay, I'm not crazy. It's not me at war with the toilets. It clearly is a toilet issue.
Fair. So
there you go. There's my wish.
Okay, I'll give you that. I guess my wish is I'll go for one that is more grounded in reality. I think my wish would be to do with the menagerie. And I think most of the spaces have been really changed and made to be like more have animals in them that are more suited to be there.
Yes.
So like aviaries and stuff. But there were a couple where I was like, I feel like they could just do with a touch of modernisation, or at least a touch of expansion, or a touch of just a little bit more.
Like the big cat one?
The big cat one, number one in my head. Last time. Just, yeah. It suits its purpose, but it does feel old. And there's a perception thing, which I think we've touched on a few times, which like even if the ethical standard or it meets the zoo regulation,
it's obviously meeting zoo standards to be allowed to operate.
It just feels old.
Yeah.
And I think the perception of the public and the perception of whatever, it does feel old. So I think that's something that perhaps could be considered to be changed. similarly with the orangutan house, there's just a couple things where I'm like, maybe we should reflect on this. When you have such a big, fantastic, amazing facility like Paris Zoo, Parc Zoologique de Paris, like, that's incredible. Bring some of that magic into the menagerie and just update certain areas without losing the history necessarily, and without knocking down iconic buildings, without doing that. But maybe just adjust certain things to make them more fitting to today's audiences.
Yeah.
Just slightly, not like burn the whole place to the ground. Just like, just a little change.
Yeah.
Here or there, I think would go a long way. That would be my thought. But yeah, I guess those would be my thoughts. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything. I'm actually trying to think if there was anything at the big zoo that I was like, oh, change. But no, I just had a lovely day. Just had a lovely day.
Clearly had no issues with the toilets, so lucky you.
No, I guess, can't pick anything.
So, in terms of our word of the ReZOO, are we going for a word each, or a word or a phrase that encompasses them both?
I think we encompass them all.
Okay. What are we going for?
Oh, I wish my French was still good from Sky School, because then we could do something in French, but I feel like we're just going to get something wrong. I'll say like bibliothèque.
Yes. Oh, yes, it was very library. It was great.
It's great.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because the two of them, when they contrast, you've got one that is so modern, and that's the thing that makes it stand out, and one that's historical, and it's almost like that contrast of the two, but then they blend together really well, and it's like
synergy.
Yeah,
I feel like that sounds like an apprentice team name. Synergy. There's definitely been a synergy at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess balance or history, legacy.
Oh, we've done legacy.
Can't
have
before.
Legacy again.
History.
I
can't think.
It's just a nice blend, isn't it, of like the old and the new. Blend.
What's a good word for old and new? Timeless?
Oh no, I'm just singing
Taylor
Timeless
Swift.
in my head.
Yeah. There's something there.
Yeah. Something.
Pick a concept.
You're getting the idea there, listeners.
Yeah.
You can decide.
Yeah, you pick your own word. But no, I think that's a good concept for the review. Is this timeline? Don't sing it. We can't pay for the rights.
Oh, never mind then.
Oh, if we get sued by Taylor Swift, do you think I'd get to go for a concert? Do you think she'd be like, oh, I'll come and meet him? And can come backstage.
So the person she's just sued.
Yeah, well, I'll take her to court while she's in Scotland. And be like, I just want to meet you. I guess then on that note, before we talk about suing Taylor Swift, that brings us nicely to the end. Thank you so much, listeners, for listening. Thank you again for supporting the show. If you do not follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast from already, click subscribe, leave us a nice review, leave us your thoughts, tweet us your thoughts, post your thoughts on our Facebook page or on LinkedIn or wherever. We're at Pangolin Podcast on everything. Let us know where we should resume next. We've got a couple loaded up in the barrel, ready to go already. But yeah, let us know where you think we should go. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at The Only Jack Baker, and on Twitter at Only Jack Baker. Or X, sorry, it keeps changing.
Oh, of course.
If it hasn't burned to the ground by the time we release this, you can follow me there. And yeah, I guess any closing thoughts, Jodi?
Oh, you ask me this every time.
Yeah, I know I do, and I always will.
No, I'm just singing Taylor Swift now in my head.
Lovely. And on that note, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.